We're going to start right here with Juanita Broderick, Bill Clinton's pre-deposition statement. We've seen him lie so many times on video. This time is no different.
Former President Bill Clinton has just released his opening statement in today's deposition regarding his ties to pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Here it is in part, quote, "I had no idea of the crimes Epstein was committing. No matter how many photos you show me, I have two things that at the end of the day matter more than your interpretation of those 20-year-old photos. I saw nothing and I did nothing wrong. You often hear me say that I don't recall. That might be unsatisfying, but I'm not going to say something I'm not sure of." You know, he is a person that we have seen on tape before lie to the nation.
Absolutely,
so
we have.
It's good to get him under oath. We'll all as a nation be able to see the transcript that gets released and the videotape, reportedly of his wife screaming during her deposition.
She was
some
screaming.
point. It's not deposition, but interview yesterday. So we will see all of
this
it
is
as a nation.
Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton we're talking about.
This is a House committee hearing. Would it lead to something else? We don't know. But we will watch and cover it all here on Fox. Thank you.
Okay, well, that's a fair question that I didn't think to bring up yesterday. The House GOP, they said that they will be releasing the video with Hillary Clinton's testimony, the full video, and they're also releasing the transcript, of which they were supposed to release today, but I didn't come across it. Maybe it's possible that I just didn't see it, although I somehow doubt it because I was looking all over the place today. Not for the transcript specifically. I was just keeping my eye on the news all day, and I didn't see it. Again, it's not to say that it's not out there, but if they do end up dropping it over the weekend, I'm sure I'll be doing a video on that over this weekend. So anyway, let's move on to the SCIF. Bill Clinton is cooked. He is already committing perjury in his opening statement. What kind of country are we if we let child traffickers and abusers walk? These monsters must be held accountable. And real quick, just to finish up my last thought, I don't know if they're actually going to release the video on Bill Clinton. They already said they're going to with Hillary Clinton, but are they going to invoke like a presidential privilege, or because he was a former sitting president, maybe that's something that they could justify not releasing the footage? I have no idea. Maybe it's up to either Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton's discretion. Maybe it's up to their lawyers or something. I have no idea. Hopefully we'll get to see it, but at the very least, they said that we're going to be seeing Hillary Clinton's testimony at least. All right, so we've got the highlighted portion on the right. The text is too small. The X platform, it's stupid. It doesn't let me zoom in, so I just took a copy of former President Clinton's opening statement. So we'll just go through it so that way you can read it if you just happen to be watching this on a screen. And it starts in this section. It says, "Though my brief acquaintance with Epstein," and let's see where that's going to be. All right, so here it is. "Though my brief acquaintance with Epstein ended years before his crimes came to light, and though I never witnessed during our limited interactions any indication of what was truly going on, I am here to offer what little I know so that it might prevent anything like this from ever happening again." And then it continues and highlighted in the next paragraph. "But before we start, I have to get personal. You made Hillary Clinton come in. She had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Why didn't he just say you made my wife come in? I mean, that would have sounded a lot more personal. She has nothing to do with Epstein. Nothing. She has no memory of even meeting him. She neither traveled with him nor visited any of his properties. Whether you subpoenaed 10 people or 10,000, including her, was simply not right. Yeah, except that you traveled with y'all's daughter, Chelsea Clinton, to a wedding in Morocco, which was publicized, and there were images that were there, or that were taken, that were also made public. Of course, Hillary Clinton just conveniently wasn't there. So, look, to be fair, maybe she was Secretary of State at the time. Maybe she was, gallivanting, doing something else. God knows what. Although I think the public doesn't quite believe you that Hillary Clinton has not met Jeffrey Epstein one time after you've rendezvoused with Jeffrey Epstein himself, you and him flying to Epstein Island literally dozens of times, but Hillary Clinton has never met him, not one single time. I mean, Hillary Clinton yesterday went as far as to say that she knows literally nothing about Jeffrey Epstein, to the point where apparently Bill Clinton himself, her husband, never communicated a single thing about Jeffrey Epstein to her, ever. Even though that he's traveled with him dozens of times, in totality spent probably months with Jeffrey Epstein, but didn't come up in conversation, not a single time. Yeah, okay. All right, so it looks like we're going to go to the next page, and it's going to continue. First, I had no idea. All right, so here it is. First, I had no idea of the crimes Epstein was committing. No matter how many photos you show me, I have two things that at the end of the day matter more than your interpretation of those 20-year-old photos. I know what I saw, and more importantly, what I didn't see. I know what I did, and more importantly, what I didn't do. I saw nothing, and I did nothing wrong. All right, man. I guess, look, were there some of the photos that they just simply did not release because they were just like, full on nude, corn images? I'm trying to stay G rated for YouTube because I know YouTube gets mad when you start throwing out, words that adults actually use. But anyway, not so sure about all that. Although the photos that we've already seen in the public look already damning enough, and of course nobody's really going to believe that. However, if he's given testimony, then I guess it might be what it is. Although maybe the federal government has information that they could indict him with. Maybe it's just something that was too spicy to release to the public, that they had to redact too much of it to be able to release the images. I have no idea. I'm not even sure. I highly doubt that Bill Clinton's ever going to be indicted. I don't think anybody's going to be indicted for any of this. And the committee already said yesterday after Hillary Clinton's testimony that they don't have any ability to indict anybody or arrest anybody. They're just looking for answers. So not to say that this is really a waste of time, but I mean, if anybody's looking for any arrests or any convictions or prison time, then it sounds like we're just kind of wasting our time at this point. So this is from Bill Clinton. As someone who grew up in a home with domestic abuse, not only would I have flown on his plane if I had any inkling of what he was doing, I would have turned him in myself and led the call for justice for his crime, not sweetheart deals. Well, Bill Clinton doesn't have a squeaky clean history. I'm not talking about the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. That already speaks for itself. But apparently he was involved in illicit drug trades when he was the governor of Arkansas, which I didn't become familiar with until today. And I actually grabbed a video clip explaining that, which we'll get to here in a minute. But first, check this out. Shadow of Ezra. Boxes of pizza are now being delivered inside where Bill Clinton is testifying about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. You almost can't make this shit up. It is absolutely hilarious. Yesterday, Hillary Clinton said that they kept asking her questions about Pizzagate and UFOs. Sounds like they're probably doing the same thing with Bill Clinton today. And I don't even know. Maybe Bill Clinton himself said, well, speaking of all this pizza talk, I'm kind of hungry. Let's order some pizza. Anyway, let's take a look and watch them deliver pizza. Lots and lots of pizza. I mean, how many boxes, man? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They got 10 boxes of pizza. They got a bag of, I don't know what that is, breadsticks. They've got a small box on top, maybe dessert pastries or something. There's sound, but it's at an extreme minimum. So there's not that there's anything that you're going to hear anyway. I mean, it's just going to probably be just ambient background noise. So there you go. Literally delivering pizzas, probably at the exact same moment that they're questioning him about Pizzagate. Hilarious. From Fox News, Rep. Nancy Mace, former President Bill Clinton did attempt to respond to every single question asked, and when his attorneys told him, even when his attorneys told him to shut up.
Yes, I want
That's
to thank
surprising.
President Clinton for being here today. He was here for a very long day. He did attempt to respond to every single question asked, even when his attorneys told him to shut up. He kept, going. I think there's agreement too on everybody who is here on both sides of the aisle that we want to get to the bottom of this.
And Anna Paulina Luna doesn't look too pleased.
Clinton for being here today. He was here for a very long day. He did attempt to respond.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It's a short clip. I forgot. I was like, wait a minute. Did we just hear that? Yeah, we just heard that. From Eric Daugherty, breaking in a bombshell moment, former President Bill Clinton testifies under oath that President Donald Trump was not involved with Jeffrey Epstein, according to his knowledge. Trump has never said anything to me to make me think he was involved with Epstein. Wow, cue the liberal meltdowns. Trump exonerated. Of course, that's just an opinion. Trump is not exonerated. I think in the eyes of the Democrats and the liberals and the progressives, I think that this isn't going to get through to them in any way at all. They're just going to keep insisting that Trump did literally anything and everything that they can possibly imagine negative that could have happened in any reality, any universe, any parallel universe. Trump did all of that, all at the same time, constantly, because evil orange man bad, Trump derangement syndrome.
President Clinton said, that's for you to decide. And the president went on to say that the president, Trump, has never said anything to me to make me think he was involved, and he meant with Epstein. So I know there's a lot of curiosity about President Trump. I thought that was an interesting thing that President Clinton said. So I'll let the Democrats have the podium and they can answer your questions, but we'll come.
Yeah, I would love to hear what they said after that. Like, that's not good enough. We still think Trump is infinity times more guilty than Bill Clinton, even though we've seen plenty of pictures of Bill Clinton, with what appears to be minors sitting on his lap, so on and so forth. From Nick Sorter, breaking, despite flying on Epstein's plane 27 times and appearing in countless photos with him, Bill Clinton, in his opening statement, says he has no idea what Epstein was doing. Even with 2020 hindsight, I saw nothing that ever gave me pause. Yeah, nobody believes that.
Mr. Chairman, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Explain to us specifically what you need to hear from President Clinton today. What do you want to know?
Well, I think everyone's seen there are a lot of photos that have been released by the Department of Justice as well as the Epstein estate. There are a lot of email correspondence that included President Clinton. We know President Clinton had, and Secretary Clinton confirmed this yesterday, Jeffrey Epstein was in the White House 17 times. While Bill Clinton was president. We know that Bill Clinton flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane at least 27 times. So those are questions that we're going to ask. Everything that most media outlets have reported with respect to pictures and correspondence between Epstein, Maxwell, and Bill Clinton, these are all questions that we're going to.
So Jeffrey Epstein visited Bill Clinton in the White House 17 times, and Hillary Clinton didn't bump into him a single time. Not once. Zero. Okay. Reb Comer confirms that Epstein visited the White House 17 times during Bill Clinton's presidency, including the 27 times Clinton was on the Lolita Express to his private island. Comer states, I didn't know what he was doing, will not fly. I hope they take him down to show at least an example of someone. If they can't get Bill Clinton, who can they get? So it's a longer video. This clip here, I honestly didn't even know if that was going to be at the beginning or the end because I don't watch these videos before I do the show. I just want to react as I see it. However, if it repeats and if I catch it, I'll skip it ahead a little.
Explain to us specifically what you need to hear from President Clinton today. What do you want to know?
Well, I think everyone's seen there are a lot of photos that have been. Jeffrey Epstein was in the White House. I ask everything that
all right, let's just go from there.
Most media outlets have reported with respect to pictures and correspondence between Epstein, Maxwell, and Bill Clinton. These are all questions that we're going to ask today.
Yesterday, you both told me that you were planning on asking about an email that Howard Lutnick sent to Jeffrey Epstein, I presume about a Hillary Clinton fundraiser. I think that was the one. He's worth asking about. Is he not worth asking in to talk about what he might know?
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting when we hopefully get that video out later today or tomorrow as quick as we can get it out. I think it'll be interesting what Hillary Clinton said about Howard Lutnick.
And how she said it.
And how she said it. We looked, I think that was Miss Mace with the line of questioning. So there was a pretty thorough line of questioning yesterday between Miss Mace and Miss Clinton with respect to Lutnick. And I think you all find it very interesting what she had to say. But we're going to continue to ask questions of everyone that shows up in photos on the island and things like that. Yes.
Secretary.
I will be asking for him, yes.
You will.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Obviously, we heard from Secretary Clinton after her deposition. She described the session as repetitive. She said it veered off topic. She was asked about things like UFOs, Pizzagate. Can you explain why those topics were brought up and also in light of the release of that photo?
And she also said there were substantive questions yesterday, too. But one reason there were repetitive questions about Epstein is because we went through every email and every correspondence that implied.
Well, she probably kept dancing around with her answers,
Epstein
too.
Communicated often. You all have seen the email where he said that she looks better in person and all of that. Those were questions we asked.
Well, and also, if you've ever seen a committee hearing, it's not just one representative that's asking 4 hours, 8 hours worth of questions. Each one gets roughly 5 minutes. I think in just about every case, they get 5 minutes to ask questions to the person in front of them. And they have, in most cases, a carefully crafted list of questions that they present to them. And they just use their 5 minutes accordingly. So, yeah, it's not crazy to think that multiple members are going to have roughly this similar, if not the same question to ask. So, I mean, it's not a crazy thing that just happened out of nowhere.
Every item of evidence that would suggest Hillary Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein had a close relationship, we went and asked about that. So it may have seemed repetitive because there was a lot of documentation that would suggest that she had a relationship with Epstein. So go ahead.
Clear, Secretary Clinton actually asked about the NDAA. Sorry.
Go ahead.
to be clear, Secretary Clinton actually asked us about what happened with the disclosure language in the NDAA. So, I mean, I know she's trying to pivot from the fact that she's here and she had a very close relationship regarding the Clinton Foundation and Epstein and Maxwell. But the point is, and I think I'd like to hit on this with probably Ms. Mace here, but I think we have a very important interest and curiosity about what specifically the co-conspirators had a role in all this, right? We know for a fact that some of these were women, and I think that today, at least with my line of questioning, I'm curious about that. Why is it that these women were giving plea deals as adults for trafficking minors? How much of that did they witness, et cetera? And so, I don't know that Secretary Clinton was all that honest about the context of this investigation. We asked extensively about intelligence ties, whether or not she felt that she was targeted as a result of possibly an intelligence gathering operation. And she was very curiously interested in that. And then also, you'll hear it in the response, but had told us to follow up with a few countries, one of which is our ally. So that's interesting.
And I think Ms. Luna brought up a good point about the Clinton Foundation. There's so many examples in the evidence the Department of Justice released in correspondence where Epstein bragged about how involved he was initially in setting up the Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation. We asked those questions to Secretary Clinton yesterday, and she kept saying, well, she was in the Senate at that time. She wasn't focused on it. You'll have to ask my husband. So a lot of the Clinton Global Initiative questions yesterday went unanswered because Ms. Clinton deferred to her husband. So
in other words, that's what we're asking.
Annie, go ahead.
Today.
Yeah, it's our understanding that you guys asked Secretary Clinton yesterday about photos of her husband in the Epstein files. What was her reaction when you showed various photos, for example, of her husband in the jacuzzi that we've seen?
I'm going to let Miss Mace answer that. We're on TV.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything. No, she didn't want to answer any questions about any of that.
What is that supposed to mean? I thought we were going to get the testimony video.
All those questions to her husband, and he will be thoroughly asked about that today. What did he know? When did he know? What did he see?
Maybe that's why they insisted on having it behind closed doors. Maybe because they were going to show somewhat shocking images that would not have flown on C-SPAN. Maybe
because there are other people who've come forward publicly, like Kevin Spacey, who thought all of this was very strange and actually a very high risk for a president of the United States or former president. It's all very bizarre, but I asked her very pointed questions, and you'll see that in the transcript in the video that comes out, and you'll see how she responded
Kevin friggin'
as well,
Spacey.
Screaming.
And we'll close with this. We're going to get the video out as quickly as we can get it uploaded and the sound and everything from yesterday. So this is, for all practical purposes, a public deposition. The American people are going to see it. I've heard C-SPAN's going to air it wire to wire. So
then why have it behind closed doors, dude?
And I think that'll answer a lot of questions, especially with Lutnick and other things like that. Throughout the day, we'll try to send different members out to give you brief updates. We don't want to disclose what's going on in the deposition specifically.
We're going to see it anyway
at the conclusion, but we'll keep you updated, and we appreciate everyone being here and look forward to updating you throughout the day.
Ms. Mace, what do you mean that Hillary Clinton was screaming?
She was unhinged, and I hope that President Clinton is less unhinged today than his wife was yesterday. You'll see it.
Oh, man, I hope so.
Why do you think she had a relationship with Mr. Epstein?
Well, he was basically instrumental, per his words, and I think you'll find out from Clinton probably today in setting up the Clinton Global Initiative.
President Trump said that he was bothered by Clinton coming in.
The biggest thing is we need transparency, accountability, and we need justice for the victims, and we need to make sure we find out how can we write laws to prevent human trafficking and prevent people of that evil level infiltrating the highest levels of government. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure if that's going to be possible to do that in its totality. After all, the Biden administration allowed 450,000 children to go missing in the country, and nobody really seemed to give a shit back when that was going on. So, yeah, I didn't put the videos in perfect order. My bad. That's okay. Either way, they provided some very interesting info, though. But regardless, I think the public would like to see the full testimony for themselves. I mean, it's ridiculous that they insisted the deposition be behind closed doors in the first place. And Bill and Hillary Clinton, they did say that they wanted the hearings in public. However, it wouldn't surprise me to learn that it was their lawyers, perhaps, who insisted that behind closed doors hearings take place so they could omit certain details or certain moments from the deposition. Or maybe not. Perhaps it was the committee who insisted on the behind closed doors hearing, either Either way, it's ridiculous because the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which states that anything and everything with regard to Jeffrey Epstein and all the investigations and all the files and all the photos and videos and everything has to be made public except the victims' identities. All right, so from the New York Post, Megyn Kelly shares a decades-old photo of Clinton allegedly ogling her young friend hours before Epstein testimony. Yikes. So apparently one of these girls is Megyn Kelly. Is that what's happening? Is that Megyn Kelly? Is that Megyn Kelly? I don't know. I don't think so. It didn't really look like her. Okay, so Megyn Kelly claims a decades-old photo of former President Bill Clinton shows him looking down the chest of one of her young friends, sharing it just hours before he is due to testify Friday about his association with late pedo Jeffrey Epstein. Former Fox News anchor flashed up the image of Clinton from 1999 when he was still president, telling her viewers that it showed him ogling her friend at the Bombay Club in Washington, D.C. soon after he was impeached over the Monica Lewinsky scandal. I'm not saying this is a crime, she stressed on her Megyn Kelly show Thursday, claiming it instead showed Clinton hadn't changed even after getting impeached. Yeah, it definitely kind of looks like that he is looking down in a certain direction. Obviously. I mean, where the hell else is he looking? Of course he's looking down at her chest. All right, so yeah, no, that's not Megyn Kelly. Obviously, that she said that's her friend. That ain't Megyn Kelly either. I don't think so. I think she's older than that. But don't tell her I said that. Bill was not shamed at all after the Monica Lewinsky scandal out of his hound dog behavior, to put it mildly. Yes, he is looking down the chest of my friend, Meg Florence, and that's my other friend in the foreground, Abby Rittman. So there you go. He's basically got his hand on her side boob, Kelly alleged of this snap. Kelly claimed Clinton brazenly posed for the photo in the middle of the restaurant while his wife Hillary and their daughter Chelsea were in tow. Yikes. Okay, yeah, that's kind of creepy, Bill Clinton. Very creepy. All right, Quiet Patriot, the truth about Bill and Hillary Clinton, the two most evil politicians to ever be in office next to Pelosi and Biden. Uh-oh, this might get spicy.
So I've written a book, Clinton, Bush, and CIA Conspiracies, and I researched the hell out of the Clinton crime family, and that's what led me to Epstein. So he was a serial rapist and cokehead going back to when he was the governor of Arkansas, and it was the CIA. They wanted the sleaziest, most corrupt governor to choose that state to smuggle the white powder in from South America.
So the movie American Made, that Tom Cruise movie, I think I got the name of the movie right, American Made, that seems to come to mind because I think it was in Arkansas, right? I'm pretty sure it was in Arkansas where he was given that abandoned military base or airport or whatever it was that was out in the middle of nowhere that was handed to him by the CIA, and he started flying in tons of coke. I'm pretty sure that it's right up this alley, that he's probably talking about that exactly.
To finance these wars against the communists in Nicaragua. And Bill Clinton provided the state
the
security
Contras or whatever.
The drug drops. And his own brother, half-brother, Roger Clinton, was busted buying coke from an undercover cop and recorded saying, some of this is for Bill. He's got a nose like a vacuum cleaner. Wow. And that cop knew if he didn't out that arrest really quickly, it would all get covered up. So they put Roger Clinton in prison to show that no one is above the law.
Wow.
And the Clintons are moral, upstanding pillars.
Well, you know, Democrats are going to say, this guy's a kook. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't have any proof.
Meanwhile, he's got multiple allegations of women, sexual assaults, and Hillary Clinton tracked a lot of these women down with private investigators, threatened their lives, pets were murdered, people were thrown off balconies, and this is the genesis of the hashtag Clinton body count.
Right.
They had a coroner, Fahmy Malek, who, when Bill's mum had accidentally unalived someone when she was working in the medical profession, Fahmy Malek had come in and he adjusted the cause of death. So Bill Clinton owed him for the rest of his life. Wow. And Fahmy Malek would come in, and if you had been shot in the head or if someone had strangled you, he would say that you drowned in a swimming pool. I've done a whole chapter on those in Clinton, Bush, and CIA Conspiracies.
Holy moly, that is wild. I didn't know about all that with regards to that. I've definitely heard of the Clinton body count. I mean, who hasn't heard of that? I mean, the conspiracies around the Clintons are just It seems like the rabbit hole is like infinitely deep, it would seem. Shadow of Ezra, a former advisor to the Clinton administration, blows the whistle, claiming that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton both visited Zorro Ranch multiple times to meet with Jeffrey Epstein. He says there is evidence, including photos of her with Epstein. He is not schmooish-minded, by the way, which, of course, YouTube, you can't say that on here for some stupid reason. I would like to know if those, are you going to release those images? I mean, because I'm sure the public would certainly like to see those, because it would absolutely prove that Hillary Clinton is a liar under oath. That would certainly be helpful to see.
Ghislaine Maxwell was at her daughter's wedding, and her story now is, oh, she was a +1. Well, who was she the +1 with as the pimp-in-chief for Jeffrey Epstein? And the alleged 13-year-old girl, her entire testimony was discounted by the FBI after investigation because it supposedly happened again when she was 13 or 15 at Hilton Head Island with no evidence whatsoever to back up her claims, and she was determined to be really kind of off mentally. So, again, the left keeps wanting to throw Bill Clinton aside while focusing on Donald Trump. It was Jeffrey Epstein who went to the White House 17 times, with Hillary always out of town. Bill and Hillary went to the Zorro Ranch multiple times, and she never met Jeffrey Epstein there. There are pictures of her with Jeffrey Epstein while she claims, both in apparently her sworn testimony and afterwards, she never met the man. So are we supposed to believe our lying eyes or Hillary Clinton?
I guess the difference is she's saying, I don't remember meeting him. Maybe that's one of those small legalese phrases, which means that she gets off swinging off a massive giant hook.
Of
Steve,
course.
do you think there'd be any justice for the victims?
That's how they play those games under testimony.
But so many of these people who write these long books detailing their time in office or as a camp, they can remember everything when they're writing a book. But when it's a tough question, I can't remember ever meeting the man. And her statement afterwards, and her lawyer's statement, was definitive. I never met the guy. That's not true.
Well, yeah, because you can't prove somebody's memory. You just can't prove it. You can't like go into the operation of somebody's mind and know what it is that they're thinking. And you can't just like actually search their images, obviously, or their memories. But until we see the photos for ourselves, I don't exactly buy it. But, of course, the Clintons and the Democrats, if the images are released, they'll probably just say, that's just AI, bro. That's just a deep fake AI image. Because it seems to be the direction that we're probably heading. If AI does get to the point where you just cannot tell fiction from reality anymore, whenever there's photos or videos that are placed out in the public, then I don't even know what's going to happen, man. That's going to get really, really sketchy. Like a rewriting history, like a history written by the victors kind of thing comes to mind. If the Democrats just railroad us into this communism, totalitarian hellhole, then they just start rolling out with all this like deep fake AI stuff that just starts just trying to rewrite history as we know it. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some connection there with Orwell's 1984. All right, Jesse Waters, breaking: Obama and Clinton operative Larry Summers has resigned from Harvard amid his ties to Epstein. Bill Gates just confessed to flying on Epstein's plane and having 2 affairs with Russian women. Even the ex-Norwegian prime minister, who handed Obama his Nobel Peace Prize, is being investigated for taking gifts and traveling and taking loans from none other than Jeffrey Epstein.
Fox News alert: the Epstein blast radius is expanding, and more names added to the list. Larry Summers,
blast
top
radius expands.
Clinton and Obama, today announced he's resigning
for the nuclear
from Harvard
fallout
at the end of the year after getting exposed in the files. And Bill Gates is saying sorry. In a town hall at his foundation yesterday, he confessed to having 2 affairs with Russian women while married to his now very wealthy ex-wife, and admitted to flying on Epstein's plane and spending time with him in the U.S. and abroad. But he maintains he did nothing illicit. The billionaire said he met with Epstein starting in 2011, years after Epstein had pleaded guilty in 2008 to soliciting a
why would
minor
that be?
for prostitution.
Bill Gates?
Gates said he was aware of some 18-month thing that had limited Epstein's travel, but said he didn't properly check his background.
Yeah, okay.
And we're finding
Mr.
out
Computer
US Virgin
Guru.
Islands Democrat Governor
All right.
Albert Bryan Jr. apparently gave Epstein special treatment just before his arrest.
Oh, of course he
helping
did.
Epstein with a construction problem he had on Pedophile Island. The global fallout continues. Prince Andrew was first. Now, his ex-wife is keeping a low profile, bouncing between properties, checking into one of the world's most expensive wellness clinics. Reports say she maintained contact with Epstein after his release from prison and even introduced him to her goddaughter. The pressure on Andrew isn't going away. Whistleblowers now alleging he spent taxpayer money on massages. Earlier this month, Prince Andrew was kicked out of his home, the Royal Lodge, and he didn't take it too well. According to the Daily Mail, he shouted, "You can't do this to me. He hasn't paid rent in 2 decades. I'm the Queen's son." He's a freeloader. Andrew stepped back from royal duties in 2019. Why is he still living on royal property? The Times of London obtained a copy of his lease. Apparently, he hasn't paid rent in 2 decades. He's an international embarrassment. Pranksters hung the prince's arrest photo inside the Louvre in Paris. The Epstein bomb is hitting every corner of the earth. Norway's former prime minister, you know, the one who awarded Obama the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah, for doing absolutely literally nothing.
Mr. Human Rights was just charged with gross corruption. They're investigating if he accepted gifts, travel, and loans from Epstein. He says he's innocent, but he's in the files, telling Epstein this: if Trump wins, I'll settle on your island. And he just checked himself into a hospital due to the strain arising in the wake of this case. Maybe he could visit Fergie at that wellness hospital. Now, the British government is about to unseal more documents tied to the former ambassador to the U.S., Peter Mandelson, who was arrested in the Epstein investigation. New emails appear to show Mandelson leaking sensitive information to Epstein. He also says he's innocent, but here he is in the files in his underwear.
Well.
Why do we
I remember seeing that image when it came out.
Show that in July 2019, days after Epstein was arrested, the FBI told the NYPD's sex crimes unit to, quote, stand down. Quote, FBI reached out to NYPD leadership already, and they were told that SUV has been directed to stand down and that all Epstein stuff needs to go to and through us. This was right after Epstein was arrested, as New York prosecutors were actively trying to interview victims, build cases, look at co-conspirators. Why cut them out right then?
Right.
Is that standard procedure or
that's kind of weird.
Something else? Plus, a 2020
it's almost
DOJ
as if there were insiders in the FBI.
To a confidentiality agreement that the chief medical examiner signed in connection with the murder of Jeffrey Epstein.
Why? What the hell?
His death was ruled a suicide. So why was the DOJ using murder internally? And why was the chief
well, yeah, that's a good question too.
forced to sign an NDA?
I was just thinking about strangulation.
Autopsy? We may be about to learn even more. New reporting suggests Epstein may have stored documents in storage units across the U.S., potentially containing materials the public's never seen. And tomorrow, Hillary is scheduled to testify in a closed-door, recorded deposition. Friday, bills up. Hopefully they get their story
There you go.
straight.
Yeah, secret documents in a storage unit. Maybe not. I guess maybe we'll hear about that. Maybe not. I would like to hope to think that the DOJ would release that if it were true and if they actually have those files. And Obama getting a Nobel Peace Prize for doing absolutely nothing whatsoever just signals to me that Democrats have been working with European and Western elites for a long time to usher in this one world government, globalism, the 2030 Great Reset, until Trump came along in 2015 and ruined everything. They want us to own nothing and be happy by 2030. But elements of the Great Reset did roll out, though, such as subscription services, Adobe, for example, also Xbox pushing to eliminate game discs, and you have to download the game. Basically, you don't own the game that you bought. And also, you have to pay monthly to access your heated seats and your heated steering wheel. And if you want your car to go 25 horsepower faster, you have to pay monthly for it. Lots of nonsense, and thank God the public has been pushing back on all that. All right, so over 10 window, President Trump stuns the media when asked about Bill Clinton's deposition. Are you concerned at all about President Bill Clinton being deposed and that sets precedent for you and your family? So let's hear from President Trump.
I don't like seeing him deposed, but, They certainly went after me a lot more than that. I don't like seeing him. Look, I like him, and I don't like seeing him deposed.
I'm not sure why you would say that. I think the public at large really wanted to see him deposed and try to see what answers he would get. Not that I think many people had any faith that anything was going to come out of it.
If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Check out The Swamp, Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern, with segments dropping on the daily. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.